What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our Big Ten channel. Time for my pre-spring power rankings. And if you've not been watching the channel, you can go back and watch the videos that I've done on every single team. So we've done a video giving my initial thoughts on each team in the Big Ten, and if I think the teams will be better or worse in 2024. And so obviously went more in depth on every single team in those videos. You can go back and watch them, because in this video we're going to go pretty quick, and I'm just going to give you these rankings. So I'll just say a little bit about each team as we learn a little bit more about them, and I think we'll learn more after spring practice. We'll learn, you know, which players are moving up the depth charts, which players look like they might be a lot better than they were last year, like they've improved a lot. And also the transfer portal will open back up, and we'll see more player movement. So these are far from final power rankings for starting the 2024 season. We'll start number 14, or excuse me, number 18. There are no longer 14 teams in the Big Ten. Number 18 is Illinois. All right, so here's the thing. I don't think Illinois is going to be awful. I feel like the Big Ten overall, these teams, like the teams that were in the bottom half of the Big Ten, were pretty bad last year. But I think all of them are probably going to be better this year. So I think you're going to see a little bit more balance in this conference, where it's not quite as top heavy, but you're still going to see those top teams clearly above everyone else. But I think that it's getting a little bit closer, at least this year. So with Illinois, I think the defense has a chance to be really solid, but I think it's going to be a different year in the Big Ten. I don't think you're going to be able to win a lot of games 13-10 like maybe you did last year. I think you're going to need to score more points this year. I think it's going to be a little bit different. The offense is going to be a little bit better, and so the offense is a concern. Who's going to be the playmakers for Illinois? That's what I'm kind of watching for there. If they can't score points, again, I don't think they're going to be able to win games just because of defense. Number 17, Michigan State. And this is a team that has a chance to go way up in these rankings. We'll see what everything looks like, but with the new head coach, a lot of roster turnover, it's hard to really pinpoint what we're going to get from Michigan State right now. Right now, I've got them at 17. Again, I don't think they're going to be bad, maybe even better than last year, but I think a lot of these teams are going to be better in the Big Ten, especially the teams in the bottom. Purdue, this is a team that was pretty bad last year. I think they're going to be a little bit better this year. I think that offensively, they did a pretty nice job filling some holes in the transfer portal. So yeah, I think Purdue could be a little bit better. Hudson Card back at quarterback, another year for him. We'll see what he can do. Biggest question probably going to be the defense for them. I think the offense, again, will be better, but defense a bit of a question mark. Number 15 is Rutgers. Defense will not be a question mark here. That's going to be the strength of this team. Kind of like with Illinois, though. How many games can you win without scoring points? I think the run game will be very solid for this team. The passing game, maybe some improvements from last year. The defense, I think, is going to be really good. I think it's going to be kind of going back to Illinois. I think Rutgers is going to have a better defense than Illinois. Again, I don't know how many games they can win just relying on that defense, but it's going to be good. And I've got them at number 15. Offense, if it can catch up, this team could be a little bit higher in these rankings potentially. Number 14, UCLA. So a coaching change here. Some roster turnover, but I tell you what, this roster overall still has a good bit of talent. If the coaching staff can do a really good job utilizing that talent, UCLA could probably be in the top half of the Big Ten, because I'm telling you, they still got talent on this roster, at least as of right now. Again, the transfer portal will be back opened up, and with the coaching change, who knows what everyone's going to do after the spring. But UCLA, again, is a team that I've got at 14 right now just because of the question marks with the new coaching staff. But talent-wise, maybe they should be a little bit higher. So we'll see about the Bruins. Number 13 is Indiana. This is a team that, you know, breaking down their roster, I was really impressed with what they were able to do in the transfer portal. They bring in a coach that has been a winner, James Madison, and brought in a ton of players in the transfer portal. Really revamped, especially this offense. I think this offense is going to be night and day from what we saw last year. I think they're going to be much more explosive on that side of the ball. Defense, probably going to be the question mark for them, but I think the offense might be good enough that they can kind of climb out of those bottom few spots in the Big Ten. And I've got them at number 13 right now. Number 12, Minnesota. I think Minnesota should be improved a little bit this year as well. They bring in a transfer quarterback. Some question marks about what he's going to be able to do at this level, but they've got good running backs. The defense was really young last year. I expect them to be pretty good there. So overall, I think Minnesota is a team that will be on the rise in 2024. Number 11, Nebraska. We saw them last year close in a lot of games. That's kind of been the story with Nebraska for several years now. But you wonder about that quarterback spot. Dylan Raiola coming in. Is he going to be ready right away? Is he going to be a star? There are a lot of question marks, but I think this is a team that'll play good defense, and they'll be a better offensively, however they decide to go at quarterback. So I think Nebraska, again, is a team that's going to be improved. How much, it's hard to say right now. There's going to be a team, maybe a couple of teams from these bottom rankings that are going to surprise us. And right now, I haven't put my finger on it. I'm not sure which team or teams I'm going to go with. Again, I haven't made predictions or anything like that, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure I will pick a couple of these teams to be surprises. Maybe it's Nebraska. Who knows? Maryland, they lose to Tua Tagovailoa. Replacing him, obviously, will be big and will be key for this offense, but they've still got a decent amount of talent really on both sides of the ball, so I think they're going to be a pretty similar team to what they were last year. Should be back to a bowl game. Number 9, Washington. Obviously, coaching change, roster turnover, a lot of question marks. I think there's enough on this roster, though, that Washington should be at least middle of the pack of the Big Ten. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the college football playoff, but Jed Fish is a good coach. Look at what he did at Arizona. I think he'll be able to get Washington on track, but what will they be able to do in year one? That'll be the question mark there. Number 8. That was number 9. Number 8 is Northwestern. So this was a big surprise team last year, of course. And you look at the roster, they've got a decent amount of production coming back, really on both sides of the ball. Lost a really good linebacker, but a couple of options at quarterback that are proven. It's a team that should be able to build off of what they did last year and have a pretty decent season once again, unless last year was a fluke, and maybe it was. But I think Northwestern has a chance again to be a middle-of-the-pack team in the Big Ten. Number 7, USC. Starting to get into the teams a little bit more potential now. USC offensive line is a big question mark. Lost a lot of guys there. You look at offensively, depth-wise, I know they've still got some talented players on the roster, but depth-wise, I have some question marks. I know everyone's overreacting to the bowl game. The bowl game does not tell me that USC is going to be a top 10 team next year. That's just not how it works. Bowl games, people overreact to these bowl games all the time. There is some young talent on the roster, and we'll see if Lincoln Riley can bring that out on offense. But on the defense, that's where the question marks are going to be. There's talent on this defense. They have not lived up to that talent. Can they get it done with the new coaching staff? That'll be the question. If USC can be really good on defense and make huge improvements there, watch out for the Trojans, because I think the offense will figure it out. Even though I don't think they're going to be quite as good as they have been offensively. Still, it should be good. And again, the defense, if it can be good, USC could be a contender in the Big Ten. Number 6 is Wisconsin. Last year, really a disappointing season in year one under Luke Fickell. I think the roster is going to be better this year. I think Tyler Van Dyke is the key. That's the key for this team. Overall roster, again, looks pretty solid, but we've seen him look really good at times and pretty bad at times. And which quarterback are we going to get? If he's really good, Wisconsin should be one of the better teams in the Big Ten. If he struggles, this team will be average at best. So that'll be a big key to watch there. Number 5 is Iowa. This is a team that defense is just, they're going to be loaded on defense. They have a lot of guys coming back. This has a chance to be maybe the best defense in the Big Ten this year. I think offensively they should improve some. If they can just improve a little bit and the defense is really good again, Iowa becomes a team that maybe could contend in the Big Ten in 2024. Number 4 is Michigan. I think there will be a pretty good drop-off here for this team from where they were last year. Defense should be very strong again. I'm not too concerned there. Offensively, though, you just have question marks all over the place with this roster. And it's mostly going to be about the passing game and all those players they lost on the offensive line. So it's going to come down to that. What will the offense look like? Again, I don't think you're going to be able to win with just defense in the Big Ten this year. It's going to be a different year from what we saw last year. Number 3, Penn State. A lot of talent back on defense. You've got the two-headed monster at running back. The offensive line, receivers look to be pretty good. It's going to be about Drew Aller at quarterback. How good can he be? If he can take the next step and be a lot better this year, Penn State becomes a playoff contender, or let's say a Big Ten contender, a team that can maybe win this conference. If he still is similar to where he was last year, this team could still be a playoff contender. They can still get in the top 12, but I don't think they're going to win this conference. Number 2 is Oregon. Just reloaded in the transfer portal, both sides of the ball. Dylan Gabriel steps in at quarterback. This is one of the the favorites, in my opinion, to win a national championship this year, along with number 1, Ohio State, who also did a very good job in the transfer portal. This team might be, this roster might be the most talented roster in the country. I think Georgia might still be that number 1 team, but Ohio State's right there with them. Really, a defense that improved so much last year. They bring so much back on that defense, an offense that should be good. Ohio State, in my opinion, the favorites to win the Big Ten, at least as we head into spring. What are your rankings? How would you rank these teams? Let me know your thoughts on the Big Ten down in the comments below.